All right, we got that. Hello? All right. Hello? Well, we'll roll with the punches. It's a complicated phone system, but it's definitely, there's a lot of stuff that's got people thinking. So I've brought a couple of other reports, we're going to segue now, that deal with North Korea. And I've talked about this before. Again, we're back to the problem, reaction, solution formula. North Korea, China, give Japan a couple reasons to keep U.S. Marines in Okinawa. There's been multiple reports of U.S. troops raping Japanese women in that particular area. It's enraged many Japanese, and they have lobbied their own congressmen, their own representatives to deal with this particular situation. I don't see the United States leaving the Japanese waters anytime soon, and there are many Japanese that are concerned, more concerned about the Chinese. And so Japan is being pulled back and forth between China and the United States at this time. They're definitely being wooed by China in many, many ways. There's a lot of tensions between Japan and China that go back historically to, well, right before World War II. You have the rape of Nanking, where the Japanese went into China and they gang raped the women after killing the men for weeks. This took place. This took place on our planet in the 30s. And so this history, don't think that the Chinese forget about the war crimes that were perpetrated against their people. The question is, you all know about the history of Japan to a certain degree, some of us more than others. They had the samurais, they had the warlords, and one day the U.S. ships rolled into town. And they were pretty much forced onto a new economic system. They were pretty much forced into a new type of government where their sword was replaced with the gun. The question I have is how much of that Japanese military machine was assisted by the United States? Okay, we have a phone call that's come in. And so we're going to go ahead and take that now. Hello, caller.
Good evening, Alex.
Good evening.
You know, man, I just want to say this, Alex. You speaking of dark forces, demonic forces. You know, I can't even imagine why. You know, this is supposed to be the powerful, most powerful country, smartest country. Why would you start any project and don't have an emergency backup plan to handle it in case it gets out of hand? I mean, you know, I do not understand that, man. And not only with the oil situation, but this nuclear power shit. You know, they're storing that stuff in barrels, man. And, you know, they brought that stuff into creation before they figured out how to handle it, you know, dispose of it properly. You know, these people don't give a damn about the ecosystem. They don't give a damn about you and me, man. They're just selfish, carnal fools, wrecking this planet, wrecking the ecosystem, wrecking life, man. And then, and speaking of, you know, the country's in the worst financial situation, and they're having the nerve to go up on raise the price of electricity, water. I mean, you know, man, and then they're wondering why the banks are getting robbed, why convenience store keepers are getting shot. It's unbelievable, man.
Girls are getting pulled off the street. It's just like, geez, have we ever thought to ask what's the root cause of the problem, why all this is going on, instead of just going, la, 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 you know, playing with our hair. It's always been this way. I mean, there's seriously some hell on earth coming to this country. I think to a certain degree, sir, we're blessed to at least know that this knockout punch, this sucker punch is coming our way so we can dunk and bob and counter it. I think that we need to think more about taking the information and passing it on to others instead of just staying in survival mode. We got to expand our consciousness beyond just survival mode and share this information, because I think we're going into a new epoch, a new cycle of consciousness, and part of that new cycle, this new awareness, is being aware of the dirt that we've got to clean up. So a lot of people perceive this information as being really negative. It can be empowering if we mindfully do something about it. All right, well, I want to thank you for your call, sir. And we've got another phone call. Thanks, Francis. Let's go directly to the next phone call, and then let's get ready to play one of the videos here. I'm going to take a quick breath. I'm like talking way too fast. There's just way too much news I came here with. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Alex, this is Peter.
Hey, Peter.
Yeah, the New World Order is indeed divided into multiple camps. And
multiple camps. Gangbangers.
Yeah. Well, the camps are at war inside the USA, and it's principally all USA action right now. Secretary of Defense Gates said the spigot will be closed, right? Mm-hmm. He was referring to the financial spigot for the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's heavy-duty action. The Korean incident is some kind of false flag operation, I'm pretty sure.
That's right. We got to get into that. It's true.
The Gulf crisis, it's designed to make Gates and Obama and other Americans more dependent upon the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
See, you get the connection, then the Pentagon spigot won't be closed.
Yeah, that's also very, very true. And don't you think it's interesting that we saw these calls for the United States to get out of Okinawa, and then this takes place?
Well, I'll have to think about that. That's a very good point. What I find is that the timing between the reference to the spigot being closed and these other two incidences with the Korean incident and the Gulf incident, all that timing.
Everything is moving very, very fast at light speed into the future.
Yeah, it's the multiple camps.
Yeah. There are multiple camps, elitist groups that have a lot of agreements between them, and now we're getting in the area of speculation. I'm not claiming to know exactly what's going on, but it does appear that there is some, to a certain degree, infighting, but overall, it's mostly cooperation. It's infighting in terms of who gets the big slice of pie once they get done robbing the peasants. And I'm talking about globally, the Chinese, Russians, Americans, people of India, Pakistan. I mean, we're all under a similar level, blueprint of tyranny and control. But the infighting mostly is about how much power each country is going to have, because you're dealing with very corrupt people, and we're dealing with liars and mass murderers and people engaged in genocide. Naturally, there is going to be some sort of distrust, and there's naturally going to be some sort of a desire to manipulate their fellow partners in crime.
Yeah, the New World Order began in the United States in 1981. It's dividing into multiple camps here because everything starts here. Things are more stable and elsewhere in the planet for the New World Order, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Peter. I'm going to go ahead and give you some information now about North Korea. We'll play track 2 in about 3 to 4 minutes. So we'll go ahead and cover Mike, graphic number 18. We'll go over this really briefly and kind of give you an overview of some of the information that's available right now. North Korea and China give Japan a couple of reasons to keep U.S. Marines in Okinawa. In the next article, analysts question Korea torpedo incident. Now, they've looked at this particular torpedo. It's German-made, folks, German-made. We'll get into Rumsfeld giving North Korea the weapons later. How is it that a submarine of the fifth-rate power was able to penetrate a U.S.-South Korean naval exercise? They were doing war games as this took place. Interesting timing, don't you think? And sink a ship that was designed for anti-submarine warfare. This is from what? AlexAnswery.com, some conspiracy theorist website. It's from the Washington Post. Graphic number 19. Such questions are being fueled by suggestions in the South Korea and Japanese media that the naval exercise was intended to provoke the North to attack. Now let's scale down to graphic number 20. This is what we've got from a Japanese journalist. He's got many questions as well. If North Korean submarines and torpedoes were approaching, that anti-submarine ship should have been able to see it quickly and take measures to counterattack or evade. In other words, this wasn't a sneak attack. It came right up in plain sight. Boom! It was as if it was meant to happen. Go to graphic 21. This is Wayne Madsen from the Wayne Madsen Report, also a former guest on the show. Beijing suspects false flag attack on the South Korean corvette or anti-submarine ship. WMR's intelligence sources in Asia suspect the March attack on the South Korean